Good afternoon. This is Audrey with the Creator's Attic, and I wanted to show you a quick idea that you may have seen before. I saw it somewhere. I couldn't quite tell you where. An idea similar to this, and I just kind of made it a little bit more of my own. But it's very simple, and it's actually really nice if you're working on a travel journal or you're working on a book for maybe I actually used this in a book I was making that was for a man. So I had to include more manly things in there, and I made one of the things that I included was similar to this. I made one like a scroll. It looks like a scroll, like maybe an old, maybe it's an old treasure map or something, to tell you where treasure may be buried, or it's a document from a captain on a ship, or, it just holds a lot of intrigue, and it looks very, very old. It's very simple to make. I also make, I'm going to show how to make these little scrolls, and they're very cute on a page. It's like a mini item, and I may decorate a page with you. However, the journal I'm currently working in I don't want to use because it's a Victorian type journal, and more vintagey, and it's really not lending itself to this type of decor or whatever. But I just wanted to show you this because it's just so neat and it's so much fun, and it's let me just show you how I do it. If you haven't seen this, it's definitely worth sharing. So I tried to cover up my mat and kind of stage it a little bit to kind of give you an idea of what you could use this for. You could also use these for, like, maybe put some music score on them and or decorate them for the holidays and hang them on the Christmas tree, with these little things. You could do all kinds of things, but these are great for journal pages, and these little scrolls are just great little minis to stick in the corner of a page or something somewhere. So I grabbed a few things, and I may have to hop up a few times, but that's just the way it goes. So I wanted to tell you what I started out with. This is what I started out with. This is actually tracing paper, just a regular pad of tracing paper, and it can be a little expensive, but you can get it for a reasonable price to where you're paying probably maybe 20 cents or so a sheet or something like that, and you can use it, make several of them out of that. I actually saw this idea not done on tracing paper. I actually kind of substituted the tracing paper, which these are made out of, and it works just awesome. This is vellum. You could also use vellum, but they're very similar, and both of them hold the distress inks and the glue with the Fabri-Tac glue. So let's look into this. Let's see. First, what I want to do is, I guess I can use the tracing paper since I have it cut. I am going to use just a page, like as if this were a journal page. I happen to have some coffee dye. Obviously, I've been coffee dyeing things, and with my hands, my fingernails are not dirty. They're just crafty nails. Crafty nails. Okay, so this page, I cut it down to be so I could do it like as an example of some stuff that I had done some special marbling coffee dye on techniques, and I had just grabbed it. I had an extra one, grabbed it, and I cut it down to what would normally be a journal size page for a standard journal. So it's about 6 by 7 3/4 or something like that. But that's a general size. So this one I cut when I made it. It may be I may have made this a little bit too big. I was making it as a prototype. I may have gone a little smaller to put it on the page, but these also may be better on not coffee dyed pages, they might pop better on a page that's with maybe a tea-dyed or page, or a lighter colored page, just whatever works for you, whatever look you're going for. But these can adjust to many different themes. But I think I'm going to go ahead and use this tracing paper since I have it cut, and I believe this one, actually, I'm going to just use my mat here and look. This one is 3 3/4, and then I did cut it a little bit longer so I can roll it up, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So I think I am going to actually cut just a little bit off of this one, because I don't think I need as much, and I may cut a little bit more, cut this one more down to size. So let me go to my guillotine, and I'm going to cut this tracing paper. Can use vellum also, like I said. Vellum to me tends to be, I find that it's a little expensive, especially if you're just experimenting with these. I would definitely go for the tracing paper, but darker colored vellums, this is just a standard, like, you know, I guess like whitish sheet, but you could also use an off-white. But I'll show you how to get this darker aged look on that I got on this white vellum, with just some simple ink. But let me go cut this down, and I'll be right back. Okay, I cut this down to about 3.5 by 3.5 by 7-ish. But you can, when you roll the paper up, you can make it smaller if you want. So you do want to start with a little bit more paper, so longer paper, so because you will be rolling it up. Now, you will need to, first of all, I'm going to move this. First of all, I'm going to take my brush, because I want this to be a little aged. I'm going to take my inking brush and grab some distress ink. I happen to have gathered twigs on hand, but you could use vintage photo. This is Tim Holtz distress ink, and this is the gathered twigs. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my brush, and I'm not going to go down hard on my vellum, because it tends to leave spots when you go down initially with more ink. But if you kind of brush a little bit more, you can start to see the color spreads a little bit more evenly. But if you have some blotched looks on there too, that adds a little intrigue, because maybe it's a little bit more aged, some in one place more than another. But I'm just going to go ahead and get this one, just get the whole thing. If you're using just the regular tracing paper, I'm just going to age it up a little bit with some ink. See, I went down a little bit more here, so it kind of got a little darker, but that's okay. And actually you would think with the tracing paper that this would just come off onto you, but it doesn't. It actually absorbs. So that's good. Now, I don't know about the oxides. I would think that the oxides may not be as conducive to this project as the regular distress ink. So I would, the oxides a lot of times tend to sit more on the top of the paper, and they take a little bit longer to dry. And I don't know how they absorb into tracing paper. I have not tried that, so that may be something to check out for later. But let's go ahead and look at the difference. Here is the difference between what I inked and like a regular color. I don't know if you can really tell the difference in the camera, but there is a difference. And then you could go even darker if you want, but we are going to add more darkness to this. The next thing you're going to do is take your inker, your ink dauber, and you're going to ink around the sides. Because when you roll it up, you don't want to have to be trying to ink your sides so much. I'm just going to go and just ink. And you can be generous if you want to be a little bit more, put a little bit more on here, but you're going to be rolling. See how I did this? This is, that's going to be rolled up anyway, so I mean, but you don't have to be too picky about how you ink this, because you are going for kind of an old, aged, weathered look. And I'm going to go ahead and ink the top and bottom, even though I'm going to be rolling that up, because as you'll see, the darkness kind of as when you can look through the paper, you can kind of see it. You don't have to, but anyway. Okay, what I'm going to do next is take, this is a skewer. I think it's about 4 inches, as just like for food. Maybe like to stick in the top of a hamburger or something. But you can use a toothpick. I have done that. You could also use a thin coffee stirrer, or even you could even use something like a Q-tip about that size with the cotton cut off the ends, because you're going to have to pull this out of your scroll after you roll it up, and if you have big ends with the Q-tip, it's gonna not want to come out. So you don't want your holes that big, so you just cut the ends off of them and use that. So there are lots of options. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stamp, my script stamp. Any script stamp will work. There's several I know. I'm not sure where. I think I got this one at Hobby Lobby. I'm not quite sure of the name. But anyway, I think I got this at Hobby Lobby, but Tim Holtz has one too. It's pretty awesome. I also have that one, but this one lends itself to just really fit like right in perfect size for the page. Now I'm going to go with darker ink on this. I'm going to go with black. So I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm going to see, I may not want to use the whole stamp. This stamp doesn't really have any legible words on it, but so that's another thing. It's really illegible, but or not legible, but you can always just stamp part of your stamp and just use that part of the stamp, and if you want a smaller size. And I think I haven't tried that with this stamp on this project before, but I'm gonna try it anyway. And yes, I know I'm not doing this the right way, but I'm trying to make sure that my thing is fully covered with, and this is sorry, I didn't say, this is Distress ink. This is black soot. So I'm just gonna make sure it's stamped good. All right, and I'm not gonna, see how I didn't stamp this top, because I'm not going to use this stamp. So keeping that in mind, you can kind of see I'm going to only have this much, because I'm going to make a little bit smaller scroll to go with this page size that I have. So I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm not the greatest stamper, so okay. Place it. If it's not perfect, it is supposed to be an old document. Okay, there we go. We have some script. Not as much script as I wanted, but that's okay. I can just do it again. It's an old document, so go over it a couple times. Okay, so now I am going to grab my skewer, and I'm just going to put it on the end, and I have this small part here, and I am going to catch that in, and it may be a little tricky at first, and don't worry though, even actually, let me show you, don't worry about it being exactly straight, because the offness of the scroll, see how these are not even, it adds to the intrigue to me. So you don't have to worry about it being perfectly straight. As a matter of fact, you don't want it to be perfectly straight. That kind of ruins the allure to me. But get it started, which can be a little bit of a pain at first, but just get it started on there, and just make sure you hold it very tight and roll it, just roll it up to about, where right below your script. Now, I'm going to take my Fabrifix. I need more than the hands that I have. Sometimes wish you were an octopus crafter. I wonder if you were an octopus, if you could get more done as if the octopus were a crafter with a human brain. I wonder what kind of designs they would come up with. Okay, that's weird. Anyway, I'm going to unroll this just a little bit now that I have it trained, and I'm going to take my Fabrifix glue. This is Fabrifix by Beacon. It's a fabric to fabric, fabric to paper, paper to paper, but it also holds well on, you know, odder things to glue, like slicker things. So you're going to want to put that right about where you're going to roll over it. Here. Now, you can slide your skewer out and just kind of hold it until you can know that you can release it and it will stick. Okay, so we have the bottom, so we can do the same thing to the top, and if it comes undone, usually it's trained with this, especially with the tracing paper, it's already rolled up, so it's kind of trained. Maybe I want to be a little bit, roll it at this one a little bit different direction, so I'm going to take it down, and again, it's kind of catchy to get it to start at first, but I don't put glue on the skewer because I'm going to pull the skewer out, so you just have to kind of be patient, and it may take a few tries, and you just roll, you know, like I said, it may take a few tries. Catch the edge underneath and get it to start rolling. Okay, please do that. Please roll. Stop. I'm on camera. Doesn't it always seem that, like, when you're trying to show somebody something, everything starts falling apart, but when you're by yourself, oh, it just works great. It's like, oh, I'm just going to work so nice for you, but I'm going to go on camera, and then I'm not going to roll up for you. Nope, not happening. Going to make you look like an idiot. I hate that. Okay. Come on. Goodness gracious. Concentrate, I'm talking. Okay. Not rolling quite as well as I want it to, but it's okay. That's why I like the longer skewers, because I have them, they'll go for the length of the of my scrolls, because if you have a toothpick, sometimes it's harder to get it to a whole thing to wrap around. Okay, so I'm going to go up like I want it. I'm going to go in a little crooked here and get it about where I want it. Take it back a bit. Put the Fabrifix, Fabri-Tac, whatever kind of glue you have. PVC glue, the white glues don't seem to work as well on these. I don't do that. I don't find that my glue stick, even though I have a magical Scotch Create permanent glue stick, this is the only thing I found that will really hold it. So, and you do have to give it a minute. And this is pretty fast drying glue. While I'm holding this, I'll show you the bottle. And just in case you have not seen what the bottle looks like, this is Fabrifix, and it's wonderful. I just put it in this other bottle so I can get the tip. Okay, so let's see if we're gonna hold. Okay, yay. So I'm just gonna, look, slide this right out, and I have a hole through here that you can, maybe if you can see through that. This is gonna be perfect for where you want to roll your wire. I mean, put your, not wire, your string through, but I'm not going to do that yet. That's going to come towards the end. I'm going to let this dry just a minute. Actually, let me hit this with my heat gun. I'll be right back, and maybe it'll work a little faster. Okay, great. All right, so we're back, and I'm going to take my ink dauber again, and I'm going to go back into my gathered twigs, and I'm going to start aging this a little bit. I'm going to hold this part up here just because if it's still drying, and just really put some ink on it, especially on the fold, but do leave enough, don't ink it up so much that you can't age the end, put more emphasis on the ends, because you know the ends of the paper naturally when things age, the edges of the paper tend to be the ones that turn. So I want my map to look like it have kind of turned a little bit, and I may have gotten a little bit too much glue. I may have gotten some glue on my outside, but it'll come off. Okay, so now you can see the difference in this, the difference of the two. So I'm going to do this one the same way. Just rub your ink dauber over it. And like I said, vintage photo would work, walnut stain would work. Like those kinds of colors for of brown distress inks are fine. I just have gathered twigs as kind of my go-to brown. So I just really like the look of it, more so than vintage photo. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of, let's see if I can get a little bit more here. Okay, and I'm not totally thrilled with this, but it's enough to give you the picture. I did it kind of, okay, and this one, I did it kind of quickly. This one I ripped a little bit to just give it like a little bit of like antique look. So I may just take this and just rip this just slightly like this and bend it down to make it look like, you know, the mat got, you know, was in maybe a treasure trunk or a treasure chest or whatever. And I'm going to make sure I get all of that inked. And the good thing about this tracing paper is it will stay like that. You know, it will take the shape you want it to. If you want to add some more ink to it, you can, you know, whatever you want to do to it. But the last part is I use jute or hemp twine because I like the rustic look that it gives it. So you're just going to take this, and it will just go right on through that hole. That's why I really like to use this skewer. And then you may want to take the page that you're going to put it on and just kind of look to see the size of, if you want to make it. This would work. I've done this with a spread page before, where I've done not like in the journal I was doing. I did like you can do like a nautical theme or a travel theme, and you can put this on one page and then do something else on this page associated with maybe traveling. Like you could use some compass stamps or these stamps. I believe these, I'm not sure. They say Technique Tuesday, but these stamps like this, the travel with the ship, you can do that. I have some stickers here. You could also like put this on here on your pages. I have washi. You could put some washi on the side, and then, you know, to add to this when you're decorating your page, and put maybe the scroll here, or whatever. But just for the sake of this, I'm just going to just do a little bit of my twine. Maybe go a little bit more that I need to. It's fine. And just give it a knot. You may want to put some kind of dangle on this, or, you know, dress it up how you want. But just tie your little knot, and then you just glue it on the page, maybe a little bit longer than I wanted. Okay, so you can just kind of glue this on the page. Can trim these down. Like I said, I'm not decorating a page on the camera because I don't have a journal for that. But, you know, you can make this as long as you want, and you have a nice page. And if you wanted to, you know, add, like I said, another thing over here with travel, use some washi, this would work for that. So you just basically would take the glue and run it on the back here and on the back of the scroll here. And I and then of course you would do it on the string, and then you would stick it down. I don't prefer to really put glue on the backs of these because that glue will kind of show through. So if you don't have to put glue on the actual part where the script is, that's a good thing. Okay, so for the little scroll, basically, let me see if I can do that very quick. Let me grab another sheet of paper quickly. Okay. This one already had a little bit of ink on it, and this is tracing paper that I have. So I'm just going to quickly ink the sides up because I'm running out of time. So for this one, you just, I do put the script stamp on it because when you roll it up, you can see the script through it. So it's kind of like that. So I'm going to, I'm just going to stamp this whole thing because when I roll it up, it's not going to really make a difference. So I'm just going to stamp this whole thing with some script and just kind of darken it up a little bit. And you're not going to see this script because it's going to be rolled up. So you're going to take your skewer or your Q-tip or your toothpick or coffee stirrer, and you're going to do the same thing, catch that end, and you're going to roll, and I kind of roll it up sideways. It adds a little bit of intrigue to it, and try to keep it tight, and you will roll this one almost all the way up before you put glue on it. So do it like this. My skewer fell out, that's okay. May not be as tight as I want it rolled. Okay, that's okay. Just hold it, and then I'm just going to put some glue on it so it'll hold. I'm going to finish rolling it up. That glue will kind of squish upwards a little bit and stick. And then you're going to hold this down until it stays. And I just have to kind of coax it here. A little bit more glue. Okay. So this one, once it sticks, you will ink it up with your, where's my ink? You will ink it up and make it look aged. You can even kind of bend it a little bit before you ink it, and make it look like it's been rolled up, just kind of squished a little bit, and the ink will pick up those edges, will be darker on those edges that have been crinkled a bit. So you can kind of, do it like, make it a little used. And then I have some smaller twine, and what you'll do with this is you will just take it and you will, I hold mine like this and put a small end where you will still be able to tie this, but I wrap it around a couple of times. Wrap it around and then bring this here, and then you just tie just like a knot, just a double knot, and it should be pretty secure at this point. You should make sure that your glue, I'm kind of brushing my glue, but that it's dried so you don't have to like worry about the scroll unwinding while you're trying to tie it. But you can just tie it and maybe tie it again for good measure. Not working. My hands are not working. Come on. Get under there. Ah. The older I get, the harder it is for me to grab these smaller things. Seriously. Okay, so I'm having one of those days. Do you ever have one of those days where things just seem to be a little bit harder for you than they were the day before? And like maybe in the craft room or something. That's kind of the way this day is shaping up for this, especially for this video. It's like I'm uncoordinated today. Okay, we're not as coordinated. I guess if I was uncoordinated, I wouldn't be able to tie this at all. But, okay, it's just taking so long. Okay, maybe I'll let it out just a little bit. I could have left the string a little bit longer and cut it. That might have been a better idea. Okay, I'm going to try it again. So I'm going to get it here, tie it, tie it again. If I can't get it to tie a double tie this time, I'm going to leave it and I can fiddle with it after the video. But these are fun. These are cool or to make up and just have on hand too, for just as a little side thing to tuck on a journal. But okay, so anyway, I have this and I may want to ink it a little bit more. So it looks like it's very mysterious. Get those ends. It makes it look like you just really want to unroll it and put it somewhere. But it would look great on a journal page as a mini. Or you could also, the scrapbook paper I had it on, maybe you have some scrapbooking paper that you could put it on. You could put some other stamps and some other stickers along with it and just decorate it however you want. But this is the scroll video. So I just wanted to show you these two simple things in case you haven't seen them. They're awesome. I love to do them. Have a great afternoon. Check out my Etsy store, The Creator's Attic. And if you need anything for junk journal supplies, also please continue to check out to see if I have new videos coming out on YouTube. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you, and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.